How did it feel to have this happen though? I mean, knowing that you served our country, fought for our freedoms, for such freedom of speech and whatnot, and yet this happens right before Memorial Day. Did that have any more of an impact than if it happened, I don't know, at Easter or something?
Had a hell of an impact. I've got a nephew and a foster son that are both in Iraq right now, and my nephew's already had a couple real close calls, and I don't want anyone to stop forgetting about what's going on over there.
Okay.
There was a time when every night on the news they had pictures of people being killed and names, and you don't see any of that anymore. It's just kind of faded to gray, and I don't intend to let it fade to gray. I want to make sure people are aware every day that we're losing people and they're losing people for no reason whatsoever other than somebody got a whim.
What do you make of people who say, I mean, I don't know if you've been reading comments that have been posted in response to the articles or not, but, there are people, most of the people, at least from comments we've seen, are supportive of your sign. But there are the people who have said things like, oh, but for crying out loud, it's across from an elementary school and the little kids are going to see that. What do you say to those people?
Well, actually, I've been begging people to come in and explain what it is on that sign that's bothering the children in the first place. I don't see anything offensive or anything the children would even understand. It says Bush body count.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an elementary school. Unless a child asks what that means.
Do you think in general parents do a good job explaining?
I think they're afraid to even try to explain. I don't think they want the kids to know. The kids are the ones who are most likely to ask questions about it, ask why, and they don't have an explanation.
So the other kind of objection I've seen is, I haven't seen much of this, but I've seen a couple comments to this effect is, it's about the Bush body count, but Obama's continuing the war, and what do you say to that?
I don't think Obama's continuing the war. I think Obama got saddled with the war, and he's doing the best he can to get us out of there, but once the mess was made, we can't just turn around and leave them all hanging. We've tore their country up. We've tore their economy up. We've destroyed hundreds of thousands of lives. And we have a responsibility to get out as neatly as we can at this point. But we absolutely should have never been there in the first place. Bush knew that the shit wasn't going on that he said was going on when we went, and he went anyway. He just wanted to prove a point as far as I'm concerned, and if he had focused half that attention in Afghanistan where we're supposed to be, this would have been over years ago.
Where do you get I know there probably isn't really a precise way for it to count the body count over there. Where do you get the information for
I get my information off IraqBodyCount.com on the internet, and I only count the lives that are actually accounted for. Every number on that board has a name and a family that goes with it. Every single one of them. That the estimates are that there's probably well over 1 million that are actually dead now because they find trenches full of bodies that nobody even knew were missing.
How often do you update the sign?
I just started doing the numbers on the Iraqi and us again after this whole fiasco started because I wanted to make sure that they knew I wasn't just going to walk away and forget the whole thing.
So you update it pretty much daily?
I'm updating weekly right now.
What exactly has the city said to you?
That it has to come down, that it doesn't meet code.
And they contacted you, do you know the date they contacted you first?
I'm not really sure. It was shortly after they got bin Laden because KEZI came and did an interview.
So that was May 1st.
And right after they did the interview, and that's when city showed up.
So when the article happened on the news, that was, what, about a week or so?
It was the day after they got bin Laden, whatever day that was.
So about a month ago.
That was a different station.
But the article, the one that we're referencing, where they talked about the city coming out and bothering you about your sign, that article was about a week ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't even seen that article.
Oh, you haven't?
No,
yeah, it was on
It's been in the weekly. It's been on the news stations, all the local news stations. But it was KMTR who did the article after the city came.
Right. But you were contacted a few weeks before that.
Yeah, about a week before.
So 2 to 3 weeks ago. And how many conversations have you had with the city?
Well, I had one the day the lady actually came to my house.
And that was the one who left the card I wrote down, right?
Right. And then I hadn't heard anything until today.
What did she say to you that day? That sign needs to be taken down.
You know, it doesn't meet code. It's too big. It's I don't know what all she said, but I wasn't paying much attention to that other than telling her that it's not coming down without a fight. I said I'd paint my house the same way, and what are they going to do about that? Oh, you can't paint your house. That would be a sign too.
So what did they tell you about the person that filed the complaint?
Nothing. I offered to meet with them. I also offered to meet with the people that complained at the school, because when I initially put the sign up, someone from the school contacted me and said they had several parents that wanted them to ask me to take the sign down. Yeah. And I said, well, we'd love to have a meeting with the parents. I'll set up a date. I'll make coffee and have donuts. They can come over and talk to me. If they can give me a better reason to take it down than I have for having it up, then
you actually had set up you said come here whatever
I
days.
went to the school. I told them, I said, this is the day. Tell all the parents that have an issue that they can come to my house and we'll have an adult discussion about it, and they can give me their views and tell me why exactly it is this sign is bothering the children, and we could go from there. But they never showed up. I did that twice. Not a single person showed up. So can't get much more wasted money than to come out and mess with someone who's just trying to get a message across to people. They don't supposedly have any money for jails or pay their teachers, but they got money to send people out here to pester private citizens because they're making a statement.
Did you tell Donna that you wouldn't take the sign? I mean, did you explicitly tell her the sign ain't coming down?
I told her the sign isn't coming down without a fight. I told her I'm going to call my lawyers, I'm going to call the governor, I'm going to call the state, and I called everybody.
So you called your attorney?
I called the ACLU.
Nice. I was just saying earlier, I bet it's not very often where the ACLU is actually going to fight against the city of Eugene.
Yeah. They might not, but, you know.
The governor.
Yeah, I did call the governor and everyone. I got return calls from them, but I told them that it looked like things might have settled down, and that kind of went to rest, but I'll be calling them back now. She told me she came to the house personally because she wanted to be nice about this and work it out without, you know. But as far as I'm concerned, there's no way to work this out without my sign staying right where it is.
Do you think that's the motivation the city has?
I don't.
I
have no clue what their motivation is. All I know is that I'm not going to roll over. I'm not that kind of person. Everybody who knows me knows better. I sat for 2 months in front of Massey's because he sold me a bullshit car and didn't want to give my money back. I sat in front of his outfit with a sign telling people he was a fucking ripoff for almost 2 months before all the salesmen quit and he gave me my money back and ended it. That's how I make my point. I get signs and I take them out and I advertise.